Oye, mi gente, Ish here to tell you about this episode's sponsor, Podcorn. No, it's not a popcorn subscription service. Popcorn is a marketplace connecting podcasters with amazing podcast sponsorship opportunities, from host-read ads to show integrations to, other creative sponsorships. Lo que te puedes imaginar. The best part, though, no middleman. You browse and choose the opportunity that best syncs with your show. Send a proposal, set your own rates, and collaborate one-on-one with brands across multiple categories that are looking to expand their presence in podcasts. Mira, Pero Let Me Tell You has used Podcorn this year, and it is super easy to use. The entire process, from submitting a proposal to spot approval to payment, was absolutely seamless and, more importantly, stress-free. Plus, keeping everything in Podcorn's dashboard streamlines all communication, so there's no question about what was negotiated. Vaya, después no tienes ningún tiki-tiki ni nada de eso. Así que if you have a podcast, which we know some of our listeners do, visit this episode's sponsor, Podcorn, at podcorn.com/podcasters and start monetizing your podcast today.
Hey people, this is DJ.
And this is Ish.
And this is
Season 4 of Pero Let Me Tell You.
Aeroplane, it's my aeroplane.
Interestingly enough, because you're still sitting in the STP Sion,
Forward,
but you went Chili Peppers this round.
Yeah. You know what's so funny? That I always think Dave Navarro is from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and he's really not.
He was like
He's
like a replacement.
He's from Jane's Addiction. He was only in the Red Hot Chili Peppers, I think, for
one album.
One or two albums, and I think like a tour or something. But but it was like when they were very commercially
like the hype.
Big, and they were on MTV. So wow, I didn't think that's how we were going to start episode 142.
Well, why not? Dave Navarro, Latino.
Married. Wait,
he was married to Carmen Electra, not Latina.
No, she doesn't have any Spanish in her.
Her name is Tara Fitzpatrick.
That is Carmen Electra's name.
I believe that is her real name. I'm actually going to look it up right now.
What?
As we are talking, I know. Well, her name is not even nada que ver. I know that the name was given to her by Prince.
Okay, but her name is what? Tara Fitzpatrick?
Sorry, not Fitzpatrick. Tara Lee Patrick.
Wow, that couldn't be more gringa if she tried.
Yep, Miss, and she was born in Sharonville, Ohio.
Carmen Electra.
Carmen Electra is from Ohio.
Carmen Electra.
Yes.
Wow. Well, welcome to episode 142 of Pero Let Me Tell You, everybody. ¿Cómo está todo el mundo? Happy Friday. Happy Pero Friday.
Happy Friday. Happy almost Super Bowl Sunday. Or what else is it?
Janet Jackson Appreciation Day.
That's right.
Damn it. I love the Super Bowl. I love halftime. I'm not a football fan per se, but I do love watching the Super Bowl.
It's almost like an unofficial holiday.
It is. But Janet Jackson Appreciation Day all the way. Yep. And I'm really, really, really looking forward to the weekend. I'm a huge...
He means a performer, not just because it's Friday.
A huge fan of Abel. It's funny because I call him Abel.
You do. You've said it on the show a couple times.
All the time. I'm like, I love Abel's new song. And
you're like, Abel.
Abel. And people were probably like, ¿Quién es Abel? And why do you talk so much about Abel?
Not fin de semana.
You know what's so funny? So the other day, my parents were here. And have you seen his latest video?
I haven't seen any after Blinded by the...
So in this album, as you know, and maybe a lot of listeners, either you know or you're puzzled.
Right.
So in this album, he's played a character where he has like the red suit, the red blazer.
And the busted nose.
Yes. Right. So you have to...
He's Chris Gainsing it.
No, well, no, because it's not an alter ego. It's just that he shows a character throughout all the videos. Okay. So from the very first video, Heartless... to like now, the latest video, it's like the trajectory of that character. Although he gets decapitated in the video for In Your Eyes. But anyway.
Wow, he is very indestructible.
But anyway,
Wait, so it's been the same character?
It's the same character. So that's why in the video for Heartless, and this all takes in Las Vegas.
Okay.
It's like what starts the downward spiral of a really bad night.
Wait, Heartless is the first single from this album?
Yes.
Okay.
And then it's Blinding Lights and In Your Eyes. But anyway, so in his latest video, he has like a prosthetic face on that's supposed to.
He looks hinchado.
Right. But that's the point. He's supposed to look terrible.
Right.
Like he's been being. And the other day, I had the video on or whatever, and my parents are like, "Ay, pero que ese hombre tiene en la cara? Pero que le pasó a él?" And I was like, I'm just gonna enjoy this for a minute and not tell them that this is a character. They're like, pero, oh my god, pero que pa, pero ese muchacho. Like they couldn't get over it. I'm like, okay,
I had to bring him in on the joke.
I told him so. So yeah, he hopefully has a good performance. What are some of your favorite performances?
Some of my favorite Super Bowl performances are, well, I have to go with the year that it was, NSYNC, Britney, Aerosmith, because that was just.
And Mary J. Blige.
That's right, it was Mary J. Blige. Yes, Mary J. Blige was on the Super Bowl. So to me, that was like peak.
That was Britney.
That was Britney at her peak, but that was also just like the culmination. I don't remember the year, and I know you probably do.
2001.
That was like 2001 in a nutshell.
That was when Britney was the hottest living creature in the universe.
Yes. Yeah.
Like,
and other solar systems were just
she was
wow.
the hottest. There was nothing that had
it was the sun and then Britney.
There was nothing that was a living organism that was
hotter
than
Britney Spears
in 2001. Yeah. Not everybody could say that.
No, that's true. That's true. And then also, I really love, just because I love Tina Turner, like I love her Super Bowl performances as well.
So you don't like Diana Ross leaving in a?
Okay, I love Diana Ross's. The thing is that, what year was that? Because
96.
That was 96. Diana Ross was the year before he graduated.
Yeah.
Why is it that when I look at that, it seems like if you had told me it was 1983, I would have believed you.
And it was when
it was here.
Higher came out.
It was here.
No, it wasn't here. No, it was, I think, California. I think it was in the Rose Bowl.
Oh.
But it was the year that Take Me Higher came out. So what better promo than the Super Bowl?
Well, we know that Diana Ross loves the elements.
What I love about that so listeners, if you're listening to us on Friday, when you have a little bit of time, just go to YouTube and look up different Super Bowl performances. It's actually really fun to do. Like, that's true. I've actually sat back and watched a bunch of them. Yeah,
a playlist.
And then when you put one, then the next one comes out, and the next one comes out. It's what I like about that performance is that it's so Diana Ross. It so involves wind and hair.
Yeah, it's all wind and hair. That's all it is.
I mean, she's taken away by a helicopter.
It's true. Well, better than the time she was almost taken away by a hurricane.
Well, that's true. Oh yeah, but now that she beats the elements. And you know what's so funny? That whole Central Park concert that she had, that she got, it
was rained on. It was like a hurricane.
They were saying that she could have been electrocuted.
Of course she could have been.
So what are some of my favorites? My all-time favorite is U2.
That was a good one. Yeah.
U2,
wait a minute, Prince.
But U2, U2 was the first Super Bowl after 9/11. 9/11 had only been 4 months from that. If that, yeah. And it was an amazing performance. Well, U2's like J-Lo. You know how we were saying a minute ago that J-Lo, they should stop covering J-Lo on red carpets because she's always going to outshine everybody. She's always going to look great. So what's the surprise? Oh my God, look at J-Lo. She looks amazing. I feel the same about U2. U2 always puts on a hell of a show.
U2 shows up and they leave everything on the stage.
And they did a rendition of Where the Streets Have No Name, which live, that is the best song. And they had all the names of the people that died in 9/11. It was amazing. I really like that one. I have a really soft spot for Michael Jackson in 1993.
Oh yes, that's Heal the World one, right?
It was, and I think that Michael Jackson's performance in 1993 was what kind of was the turning point for the Super Bowl halftime show.
Was that the first Pepsi MTV one or no? I
don't think MTV was involved because prior to that, up until actually, it's very interesting. Let's talk about Super Bowl halftime history. I don't know why this is really random. I actually know about this, enough to discuss it.
Listen, it's the same reason that I know a bunch of random ass shit when I'm watching TV. And Jose looks at me and he's like, "Why do you know so much about the cast of Green Acres?" And it's just I just do.
You just do.
I just
do.
do.
So up until I think it was 1989 or 1990, the Super Bowl halftime show was generally marching bands.
It was like Disney almost.
No, that was early 90s. So I'll explain. So it was like marching bands and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So then the first like headliner like that was a relevant artist at that time, or like they were really popular at that time, and they used the Super Bowl as a promotional tool, were the New Kids on the Block.
I remember that performance.
They were the halftime show. I forget if it was 89 or 90. I want to say it was 90.
I think it was in conjunction with their Summer Magic Tour.
Yes, the Magic Summer Tour.
Magic Summer Tour.
They were like the first ones. And then I think in 91, Gloria Estefan actually did the Super Bowl.
The halftime
show. But not a lot of people remember that because it was kind of like a Disney Winter Wonderland something.
It wasn't a Gloria Estefan show.
Right. So then like I think they had like Disney themed, shows for a couple of years, and then Michael Jackson in 93 was the one that made it like
a production
huge. And that was like the turning point where the Super Bowl halftime show became like a show, like what people watched, what people who didn't care for the Super Bowl tuned in, and it became bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger, and then now here we are. It's like one of the biggest shows of the year. I'm actually really surprised that they're doing it. Like I thought they were gonna.
Really, I didn't think there was ever a doubt that it was going to happen. I just didn't know in what capacity.
I just thought it was gonna look completely different, which they said, which this may be interesting, that with the weekend now. Because there's only going to be about 24,000 people in this huge football stadium. Right. They're going to use parts of the stadium that they generally wouldn't use.
Yeah, he's going to be like in the stands.
Yeah, for a Super Bowl performance.
Yeah.
You know what I think has been one of the worst ones? Sorry.
Coldplay?
No, Maroon 5. I thought Maroon 5 was...
It was a hodgepodge. It was just a mishmash of things. I don't even... It
wasn't... And it's nothing against Maroon 5.
I like Maroon 5.
I like Maroon 5, but I don't know. They don't scream Super Bowl to me.
They scream Super Bowl to me more than Coldplay.
Yeah. Do you know what's the highest viewed one?
Beyonce?
Nope.
Gaga?
Nope.
Madonna?
It was Madonna until Katy Perry.
Well, when you bring that left shark.
Yeah. But, I think that the Katy Perry aspect is, like, weird. I wouldn't have thought that it would have been Katy Perry.
Right.
Because Katy Perry, especially when she did the Super Bowl, she was very popular. But I wouldn't have thought that she beat like Madonna and Beyonce.
Yeah, or a Gaga, or
yeah, Gaga did it after. But yeah, I thought the shark thing was
that took on a life of its own.
Yeah. But yeah, U2, Michael Jackson, Prince. Madonna's was good. But Madonna is also one of these people that every performance Madonna does is good. So
yeah, she's gonna bring it.
Sometimes when you see her perform over and over again, like you're not
you're
not necessarily like, oh my god, look at that. It's like okay,
yeah,
whatever.
It's like it's a Madonna performance.
Lady Gaga's was good. I mean, they're all good. They're all good. With that said, I thought last year's kicked ass with J-Lo and Shakira.
Oh, that was phenomenal.
That was great. It was perfect. It was here in Miami, and it ended with them, just shaking their butt,
just being proud ass Latino women.
Yeah. So Super Bowl Sunday.
It's funny you bring up the Super Bowl. Have you heard that a bunch of sponsors are actually not like traditional sponsors are not?
I think
doing anything?
Coke or Pepsi or
neither of them. Coke isn't doing anything. The only thing Pepsi is doing because they're sponsoring the halftime show, and Budweiser is not doing like they're gonna do the horse, the Clydesdale one, but not like a beverage ad.
Why?
I've been trying to read up on it, and I think a lot of them are just feeling like it's a weird time. And what they're actually doing, I've read a lot of them, is they're taking the money that they would have spent and they're donating it to charities.
I think that's great and all.
So I think that's an interesting tactic. They could have donated the money regardless, quite frankly, because these are corporations that can afford it.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's just a reaction to like, you know what? Let's just reset for next year. And
I think we had spoken about this before. I think maybe we have spoken about it last year, right around the Super Bowl time. Mm-hmm. I think Super Bowl commercials have lost their luster.
That could be it too.
Because I think that bullshit of releasing the commercial prior, that makes no sense to me. And I know that you have an advertising background and maybe you find to me it makes no sense.
I don't get it either
because to a lot of segment of the population, one of the reasons they watched the Super Bowl was to see the commercials. That you would see you would see one commercial and then the next one would come on and it'd be like, oh my God, what is that? That one. And now it's like, oh, we're releasing it online the week before. So it's like, my favorite Super Bowl commercial of all time is, aside from the Mac 1984.
Well,
1984.
That's just
I think it was 2007, 2008. The one for the Volkswagen Passat with Darth Vader. The kid dressed up as Darth Vader.
That's a good one.
That with the Imperial March. That was great. Is amazing. Like such a simple commercial.
What was the commercial last year that made us all cry?
And you know which one I thought was really good too?
We were watching, and I remember like all of us were kind of like, we're not crying.
It was probably like 10 years ago that it was for Chrysler that they used the Eminem song "Lose Yourself," and it was when Chrysler started the slogan "Imported from Detroit."
Yeah.
I thought that was really good. In the 90s, Budweiser. That's
true. Was the Ali Landry commercial a Super Bowl commercial?
The Doritos girl, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm telling you. Oh, I just got sad.
Why?
Because now that you said Ali Landry,
you thought of Mario Lopez and you thought about Dustin Diamond?
No, I thought about when she married Dustin Diamond.
No, she married
in the video 98 degrees.
That's right, the 90 degrees. I do.
I do. And you know what? You know what's also interesting about that song of 98 Degrees? But I do cherish you. That was the first video. I'm making the video.
Was it really?
It was the very first one.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Wow. My trivia is like,
you're on fire today.
I'm on fire today. One more thing I want to talk about, that this actually was a topic I wanted to bring up to see if you get as annoyed at this or like our listeners get as annoyed. So our listeners here in Miami, you probably know that this week it's been really cold.
Yes.
Well, for Miami standards.
Well, no, but it's been in the 40s.
It's been in the 40s.
It's been in the 40s.
It's been cold.
It's cold. It's cold.
And, I love it because you get to wear a sweater. And, and then later in the afternoon when it heats up a bit, it's still like in the 50s and the sun is out.
It's also the time of year that the outside world matches the temperature in your house.
Yes. My house is a tundra. I make no apologies.
Yeah. He hangs meat in here when we're not recording.
Oh. Welcome to my house. There's a rack of beef.
Ignore the meat hooks.
So don't you get annoyed? Because I get annoyed. Like I want to throw a shoe at the TV.
Okay.
Don't you get annoyed when like freaking meteorologists or weather people here in Miami are talking about a cold front? They're like, oh, I have bad news. It's going to drop down to 50 this weekend. It's like, speak for yourself, buddy.
Well, they're speaking for Jose. Jose can't stand the cold weather, but I love it. See, yesterday
Jose doesn't really like this.
No, Jose, anything under like 70, let's say, or whatever, he's like, it's cold. Ugh. It's cold. Like, mira, ayer mismo, he had gone to take a walk with a friend of his to the local brewery, whatever. And they were walking back and they're like, oh, it's cold outside. And I was like, no, it's not. I literally just went 2 blocks to go get Mexican food in a tank top, and I was fine. Okay,
well, you're another standard because you always wear a tank top. Did you wear that tank top in your New York winters?
Well, I wore them underneath.
Oh, okay. Because your tank top is kind of equivalent to my flip-flops. I would wear flip-flops when I lived in Michigan until there was like enough snow on the ground that my toes started getting frostbite. I was like, okay, it's time to wear like shoes.
Well, I would wear the tank top like if I was home. Even if it was freezing, but if I had to open the door,
but at home you have the calefaction.
That's true. The calefaction. The calefaction was on point.
The calefaction.
Yes.
Darien, apaga la calefacción. And you know what was so funny? Whenever you had one of those little like heaters, did you ever have
like a little space heater? No,
a little space heater growing up? Like the one in Que Pasa USA, ay, el litercito.
No, we didn't have one.
We had a little one growing up. You turn that thing on once a year.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
you would turn it on, it would like smell.
Because all the dust would burn.
Yes,
yeah.
Yes. But it's like these like weather people. It's like, oh, we have bad news.
Yeah,
it's like 55. Oh,
on the contrary, thank you.
The cold front is ending. It's gonna be back to 90 and scorching. Yay! It's like, speak for yourself, buddy. It really annoys me. It's a pet peeve. So listeners,
I'm with you.
Do you get annoyed by that too?
I'm with you. I can find it annoying. But actually, I just wanted to bring up, like, I mean, not for too long because I don't like to dwell on sad things, but Dustin Diamond. I mean, passing this, what was it?
A couple days
Tuesday?
ago.
Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
He was not much older than us.
No.
And it was like immediate.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just one of those things that like hit me because it's, growing up, you associate certain things with your childhood. And especially when we were growing up, most of the programming was cartoons. Mm-hmm. Cartoons don't necessarily pass away.
No.
Traditionally speaking.
No.
But, so this was one of the few like live action shows. And like him passing away, I don't know, it hurt. Like
I remember.
I felt it.
Do you remember watching Saved by the Bell on Saturday mornings, like first run?
Yes. Yeah.
Because the thing is that I remember, like when I see it on reruns now, and there's certain episodes, like I remember watching that episode for the first time.
Yeah.
Like the one that I remember the most watching the first time, like specifically, like I even know what I was doing and what I was wearing, is the one that they have, not the ones with Stacey Carosi and the Malibu Sands. The one they do in like Palm Springs or something.
Oh, the ones with Jesse's father's getting married. It's a two-parter.
They're like in a resort. Yes. Yeah. Like I remember watching that for like the first time.
Yeah.
But
actually, it's funny because I remember the Malibu Sands very clearly, seeing the first episodes on Saturday morning.
Saved by the Bell, at the time it was like really cool. And it's so interesting how that show, I don't think that show has aged well whatsoever.
At all.
But I think that that's part of the beauty of it.
It's a time capsule.
Yes, but what's interesting about Saved by the Bell is that there's so many people that are younger than us that watched that show 10, 15 years after it ran, and they still love it.
But there's like the Brady Bunch.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, the Brady Bunch never went off the air.
But the Brady Bunch, I felt, dealt with more like timeless family shenanigans, if you will. Whereas Saved by the Bell is very much a product of the early 90s.
Yeah, but I think that if you look at the average episode of Saved by the Bell and then you look at your average, Disney Channel original sitcom, Saved by the Bell kind of laid the groundwork for those teen sitcoms, those high school teen sitcoms, what they became. Because, I mean, that's so Raven, if you take away, the psychic thing or Wizards.
Raven's overacting.
Right. Or if you take the Wizards element out of Wizards of Waverly Place, they kind of created that template of... Yes, but
the Disney shows are popular for kids in their demographic. Whereas what I'm saying is that there's kids who are like in their early 20s now who grew up watching Saved by the Bell. That we always joke around, the difference between you and me is that we used to watch Saved by the Bell Saturday mornings. Yeah. And whenever you hear somebody say, I used to watch Saved by the Bell when I used to get home from school, I'm like, no. I'm like, no. That was Saturday mornings.
I remember when it went into syndication on Channel 33 after, it ended its run.
Yeah, but you still watched it.
Yeah, you still watched it,
First run on TNBC. On that, but it's just, it's one of those shows that like has not aged well. It's super dated, but somehow it's still resonated with different generations and different age groups. Hence, they did a spinoff.
Yeah, or a reboot, or
a reboot.
Yeah.
Because
sequel.
I mean, that's the same argument I would make with Full House.
Yeah, but I think also with Saved by the Bell, it's just the comedy was so broad. There was a lot of physicality. There was a lot of goofy hijinks.
I would say that with Full House as well. Because, like, my kid loves Full House. And there's so many kids, like, our friend's kid, she loves, her kids love Full House. They know every episode.
Right.
And you're talking about a show that went off the air 25 years ago. And started in 87, 34 years ago. So it's been a while, and kids still love it.
What I think
the original Full House has never gone off the air.
What I think is even more interesting is that it's still, those shows are still popular. Literally, like, I'm going to use like today, because, I was using the Brady Bunch as the example, but when we were growing up, you still had what, like 6 channels? You know what I mean? So for something to be popular in syndication just meant that you only had 5 things to choose from, and that was what you watched.
Yeah.
Now they have so many more options, and yet it's still popular.
So Saved by the Bell has never gone off the air. Neither has Full House, and neither has Que Pasa USA.
It's true.
Que Pasa USA has never gone off the air.
It's somewhere.
It's somewhere.
Actually, you know what? If you download the PBS app, they ask you to pick your local affiliate, and you can watch certain shows.
Wait, there's Que Pasa USA on demand?
Yes, there's not all of them, but there's a couple of episodes.
I love how I'm sure everybody has how we figured out that they're not all on reruns, so you could buy the DVD set.
Yeah, claro.
Yeah. Because they never have the episode, which is my favorite episode, of the garage sale.
The garage sale, yeah.
They never put it now. Like when they do like welcome to Que Pasa USA, donate to
the
our
fundraiser.
PBS whatever. They never have that episode. They never have the episode of the first season. They don't have most of the episodes.
You usually only get Los 15 se caben
from the first season. Yeah. They don't have the episode with
and
the drugs.
The documentary. You get that one a lot. That Joe is...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? I think that's my favorite.
The documentary one?
My favorite is always between that one...
The garage sale is the best.
The garage sale.
The garage sale is the best one.
But it's the documentary, when they come to film the life of the Cuban family, it's filled with so many good one-liners. I work in the streets.
That's what Jose and I tell each other all the time. Whenever one of us is going to go out, I go to the streets.
I go to these. That one is so. I love it when the camera starts rolling and Pepe's like, sex, and sex. And he's like, yes, Mr. Sanchez. Here we have very nice furniture, crushed velvet. And then, of course, in that episode, viene Los Abuelos.
No.
Yes,
but
Los Abuelos, when they're like, ay,
with
Juanita, no le has brindado un snack. No pareces hija mía. Antonio, ven, vamos a traerle un snack en nuestro servicio de plata.
It also introduces us to Barbarita. No, but to me, the garage sale is the best because it manages to have every single character.
There's even racism in that.
Every single character is in that episode. Every single topic is in that episode, and it's like 22 minutes. They're in and they're out. They're in and they're out because there's no commercial breaks.
Si queremos ver el garaje que está en venta.
Garaje.
Señora, no, what is that, Violeta?
Señora,
no me insulte que voy a llamar a mi... señora, no me insulte que voy a llamar a mi tío en la botánica para dar un trabajito.
And then Mata gives the
eso la vaya. But you know what? You're right. They have in the garage sale episode of Que Pasa USA.
Mrs. Allen's even in it.
Yes, they have every freaking stereotype and every freaking topic, boom, 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 boom.
Everything. And it's a garage sale. At a garage sale. They managed to do all of it. You want to talk about economy of storytelling?
I didn't have any garage sales like that growing up.
No. We used to do ours in the driveway.
Did you have garage sales growing up?
Yeah.
You know what's so funny? That my parents very much subscribed to the peña, theory of eso es americano. My parents would say that all the time. Eso es americano. Que te vengan a tu casa a comprar cosas.
Oh, yeah. When I moved to New York, whatever I had left that I was going to get rid of, I put a
Bueno, chico, pero not you. I'm talking about
No, but I'm just saying, I even told people, I'm like, listen, I'm getting rid of shit. If you have stuff, bring it over.
I've done garage sales too. But what I'm saying is people, our parents,
growing up, yeah.
My parents' generation,
yeah. It let me remember, my parents really grew up here.
But that's what I'm telling you.
That
my parents very much subscribe to that. Vender las cosas tuyas y que vengan a tu casa. Ay, no.
No.
See, I remember that my brother in I don't know, 1989, he sold a car. Okay. And my parents were like, no pongas la dirección de aquí. Because you would put in the auto trader.
Right. Yeah.
No pongas la dirección de aquí. What? Put it in Tamiami Park or something. Yeah.
So every time somebody wanted to see the car, he had to go to Tamiami Park.
He eventually sold it to a friend of his,
Oh.
But they were very no pongas la dirección de aquí, because you don't want strange gente rara viniendo a la casa. Tú estás loco.
That is very your parents.
That's very my parents.
That is very
That
your
so
parents.
reminded me of, and maybe listeners would appreciate this. Have I ever told you the issue in my family with the Godiva chocolate?
No, but they're closing all of their U.S. stores.
I know.
Hey, do you think that they'll have some of like the little chocolate covered strawberries in venta? They can't send those back to the warehouse.
Well, yeah, that's true. So this was like in the early 90s. So my dad's boss at the time, I always wanted Godiva chocolates because I thought they were very fancy. Like,
that's true. Those were fancy
eso es
chocolates.
de gente de dinero.
Sí.
Los
Sí.
chocolate Godiva. Not everybody could buy Godiva chocolates.
Yeah, that wasn't like Hershey's.
And I wanted Godiva chocolates. And of course, my parents were not going to buy Godiva chocolates. So on this Christmas day, my dad's boss brings us a huge box of Godiva chocolates. And it looked like something out of TV. Like they took it out. Remember, it was in like it was like in a Burdines bag. You remember those big Burdines paper bags?
Yes.
Right? They took it out because it was like the big Godiva box with like the bow.
Qué rico.
And I'm like, like it was in slow motion. I heard the music.
There might have been a light coming
yes,
down.
I'm like, the Godiva chocolates. Oh my God. I'm gonna have Godiva chocolates. So then they leave. And I'm like, we're gonna get the Godiva chocolates.
Abrir los chocolate.
Llama my brother. He was still dating my sister-in-law at that time. Hey, I'm gonna go over and I'm gonna take her parents because they got you, something for Christmas. And oh my God, my parents would totally kill me over the fact that I'm saying this story.
Oh no!
and they're gonna go because they have a present for you guys. And my parents were like, oh my God,
No tenemos nada.
They gave them the Godiva chocolates,
and they didn't open it while they were there.
That's exactly. So then I was like, you're giving away my box of Godiva chocolates? So then they give them the chocolates, and I'm like, I can't believe this. And then I'm like looking at them. I'm like, open the chocolates. Open the chocolates. They did not open the chocolates.
They didn't open the chocolates?
Not open the chocolates.
That's rude.
They did not open the chocolates.
See, that's rude. I think that if you are somewhere and somebody te regala like una comida, like a chocolate or a cupcake or banana bread or whatever, you should abrirlo and ofrecer.
I know. I don't think they did it for that reason. I just think that, you get caught up in the moment. Oh my God, whatever. And that's the last thing on your mind.
Who gets caught up that you don't remember chocolate?
And I was like, open the box. Open the box. Open the box. And I remember them leaving and being like, no. And it would be years before I would get chocolates.
Oh, that made me a little sad. I kind of want to go and get you some Godiva chocolate.
Yeah.
Mira a ver si están en venta ahora que they're closing.
They're having a clearance sale.
In Merrick Park.
Oh my God. You know what I love? The Frango mints.
What is that?
Frango are so those were the chocolate mints that were done in Marshall Fields in Chicago. Mm-hmm. And when Macy's bought Marshall Fields, they started carrying Frango mints. So they have Frango mints in most Macy's now.
What made it? But wait, is it chocolate?
It's a chocolate mint.
Oh, that's why. I don't like chocolate mints.
Oh, what is wrong with you?
I like mints. I love chocolate. I am not a fan of a chocolate covered mint.
You know what I've had a craving for in the last few days? That petulant craving to go to Sandwich.
Bueno, I mean, you don't have to twist my arm.
No, I know, but it's not that Sandwich is like a huge drive, but it's a little bit of a drive for me.
And now with everything going on, they close a little earlier. So
but I've had a craving for their sandwich, not all Cuban sandwich. Their sandwich.
Bueno.
Que mentira. When I end up going there, I end up having their sandwich, the
Cuban nachos,
the timba shake, and 5,000 calories later, I leave.
Yes.
I'm done with sandwich. So yeah.
Well, just say when.
Okay. When?
You don't have to twist my arm. Ay, Dios mío. So, did you see the Golden Globe nominations came out this week?
They nominated Que Pasa USA.
They did. It was because they are the Hollywood Foreign Press. They nominated.
Who is the Hollywood Foreign Press?
Nobody knows.
Does really nobody knows?
No, I'm sure they do.
Okay, but let me ask you something.
But the Hollywood Foreign Press is it's literally maybe 20 people. It's probably
okay. No, seriously, there's not a funny. I'm not trying to be funny. Is the Hollywood Foreign Press a body that is called the Hollywood Foreign Press, or do they get press from France, press from England, press from Japan, press from here, and put them together to make the Hollywood Foreign Press? This is a legitimate
That is
question.
a very legitimate question that I don't have the answer to, but I'm going to try to answer anyway.
Oh, okay. You have no idea, don't you?
I have no idea, but here we go.
We're going to wing it.
We're going to wing it. I think what it is that these are probably like correspondents for like, you know, the Hollywood Reporter and Variety and all those types of publications, maybe historically. And they were stationed, you know, in England, in France, in Greece, etc. And maybe, you know, that's what it has now become. You know, so the Hollywood Foreign Press is...
I give you a lot of effort for coming up with that.
Right, on the fly. I go with on the fly. But I mean, it's only like 20, 30 people. And so that's why they say, that's why when people always start drawing the comparisons of like, oh, well, whatever's nominated for the Golden Globes, you know, it's an Oscar front runner or whatever. It's like, not really, because it's literally a lot of times just, you know, 20 people who nominate, like this time around, they nominated this movie Music. Which
makes the people
it does
come
make
together,
yes, especially the bourgeoisie and the rebels, but only when the rebels have a heart.
Oh,
and so no, it's a movie called Music. It's written and directed by Sia, the singer, which I don't know how she directed it with that big wig, but anyway, and the movie hasn't even come out yet. They nominated it for best musical or comedy. And the movie comes out next week.
Well, I'm gonna assume that they've seen it.
But those are the types of things that the Golden Globes does. Like they nominate these random ass things that it's like.
Listen, they are the entity that gave Pia's Dora.
You know what? That, as much as we love Pia, you know that is the epitome of the Hollywood Foreign Press. Just being like, you know, they call them, you know, star fuckers.
That's what they call them?
Well, people make that joke because like they try to nominate things that'll be splashy and ensure that the big names show up. You know? Oh, yeah, have you seen One Night in Miami?
No, what's One Night in Miami?
So it's Regina King's directorial debut.
Oh, okay. I love Regina King.
I know. She was nominated for Best Director. It's actually the first year that in the Golden Globes director category, they have 3 women nominated, 3 female directors. But it tells a story of, and I know I'm gonna forget some of them, but it was a night in Miami, and it imagines a meeting that actually happened, but nobody knows what actually happened between Malcolm X, Muhammad Ali, and these 2 other.
But does this really happen?
So it happened on like right after Muhammad Ali's match in Miami. And these 4 men were together that night. And so it's imagining a dramatization of what was the conversation that those 4 men were having when they were hanging out together in a hotel room. Is essentially the gist of it. But it actually did happen. Yeah. I mean, nobody knows what the hell they said, but yeah.
You know that in other news, did you hear that there's a Utah theme park that is suing Taylor Swift?
No, but I am in.
Because I think her newest album is
First of all, there's a theme park in Utah.
Yes.
Let's start with that.
And it's suing.
Is it run by the Osmonds?
No. Her latest album is called Evermore, and that's the name of the theme park. So they're suing her for like copyright infringement or some shit like that. And I was like, coño. I mean,
that's reaching.
Yeah.
That's reaching.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the definition of a reach right there.
I'm sure she's going to get nominated for about 50 Grammys, but you know.
Yeah, I'm sure. Wait, the Grammy nominations came out. That's right, because The Weeknd was upset.
The Weeknd didn't get nominated.
That's why. Let's
put it back to Abel.
I'm like,
Abel didn't get nominated at all,
and
he had like the most popular and critically acclaimed album of the year. I don't understand that shit.
You know what? I was going to ask you, why do you think stuff like that happens?
You know what my favorite Grammy moment has been? It was, I think, 1990. It was either 1999 or 2000 that like Ricky Martin was nominated. U2 was nominated.
Was that the year that he opened the Grammys?
Madonna was nominated. It was like these huge songs and these huge people that were nominated for like record of the year. It was like huge.
Yeah.
And Steely Dan won.
Oh yeah, that was the year of Ray of Light.
Yes.
And
no, music. Yeah. And he won. And
they won. They're a band.
Won. Yeah, and they were like, what the hell was that?
Hey, listen, that's like the year that who was it that won? Bon Iver.
Bon Iver, yeah. Mira, look, the thing with the Grammys is that, and I watched the Grammys.
I just watch it for the performance.
The thing with the Grammys is that I think, I mean, there's no scientific data to back this up. I think que ellos mismos se dan cranque.
In what sense?
Like, okay, this album is critically acclaimed, so there's press about it,
like a campaign.
So, yes, not a campaign, but there's like movement. There's like buzz. Right, that's the word I was looking for. Buzz about this album. So ellos mismos se dan cranque of the Academy. So the Academy votes for it. You know, and then I think there's certain people that just get like Beyonce, and this is nothing against Beyonce. I love Beyonce. You've
been to her show.
I've been to her show. Yeah. I love Beyonce. Let me make sure here. How many Grammys Beyonce has? How many?
Well, she was nominated again this year, right?
Yes.
For the Disney. Oh, actually, you know what? I'm going to call shenanigans on a nomination from the Golden Globes. While you look that up, the Golden Globes this year nominated, and I love Lin-Manuel Miranda, but they nominated Lin-Manuel Miranda for Hamilton.
Because of the show?
Well, because the movie, quote unquote, came out this year.
Beyonce has won 24 Grammys and 79 nominations.
So for what?
And
I genuinely asked that because I'm like, I can't think, like, is that including Destiny's Child?
Probably. And then that, including her work for Destiny's Child and the Carters. And then, you know, you have like iconic like people who have like none or a handful.
Like Madonna.
Yeah. Or even Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey only has 5 Grammys.
And one of them is Best New Artist.
Yeah. Like, you know, or even Janet Jackson, like these huge people. And again, it's nothing against Beyonce. That's like I would tell you, Sheryl Crow. Sheryl Crow gets nominated for a Grammy, she's going to win.
Yeah, Sheryl Crow gets nominated sometimes and she didn't release anything.
Right. She could release an album of humming. She's going to get like best album. Best
folkloric album.
Best lyrical interpretation.
Right.
You know,
and she'll win.
Like there's just people who win. Like they just win. And I think ellos mismos se dan cranque. And then I feel that they're always trying to like the Grammys. They're always trying to like, should we go with popularity and sales or should we go with like credibility and you know artistic merit, you know? And I think they go like back and forth. Like there's years that it's like across the board popularity, and then there's years that it's like, who are these people? Like
yeah. It's like there should be a balance.
Right. Que Joni Mitchell ponga un disco. Turbulent Indigo Part 4.
Oh, wow.
I love your boldness of Joni Mitchell. That you're like, guess what? If I hear one more person say that they were inspired by
Joni Mitchell, you know what? No, you weren't. You weren't. And you know how I know you weren't? Because the only song that everybody knows of Joni Mitchell is Big Yellow Taxi. And you know what? I guarantee that you probably don't even know the Joni Mitchell version. You probably know the Amy Grant cover.
Or the
or the Vanessa Carlton
or the
Michelle Branch.
Yeah,
I always confuse them
with the Jennifer Aniston's boyfriend,
Counting Crows.
The guy who slept with all the hot girls.
Yeah, he dated like, you know, I can't do math right now. 2/3 of the girls on Friends.
Didn't he also date Mandy Moore?
Did he?
I don't know.
I'm sure. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
Okay. So, you know how there's lipstick lesbian. There's butch lesbian.
Why did this segue off of Mandy Moore?
No. I don't know why. I just thought okay, it's like music kind of related.
Lesbian?
We're going to have to start a new trend and call it Elisa Frank lesbian now that Jojo Siwa came out.
I don't know why I find that so funny. You know what?
That baby Jane came out?
Seriously. I was thinking about this earlier today.
And I don't know what prompted
earlier
me.
the other day. And it's not so much about her coming out. I don't feel bad for her because, like, you know, she's a millionaire.
Right.
But there's a part of me that feels kind of bad for her because, and this has nothing to do with her coming out. I'm sure that when she started this whole YouTube thing,
right,
nobody ever expected it to get this
far.
Right? So I feel that her character just it snowballed.
The persona.
Yeah. It snowballed.
Right.
And it's so awful. Like, her character is so...
Her public
awful.
persona.
Her public persona, not her as a person. Like, Jojo Siwa! Like, I tell you that, like,
I love when you imitate her. I love when you do the voice.
Yeah, welcome to my DREM tour. This is my house with my candy canes. Like, I tell you that at the end of the day, she must be exhausted of being Jojo Siwa. Look at my bows. Look how big my bows are. Ah! Look at the Christmas tree. Ah! Like, I'm sure that she never expected this character to be as big as it is. And now she is stuck with this character. Because it is awful. It is just awful. I watch it, like sometimes I watch it to torture myself. I'm like, you know what? I'm a little bit masoquista right now. I'm like, I'm gonna watch her singing. She doesn't even. It's funny because she started off as a dancer.
She was on Dance Moms.
Right. She's not even a great dancer. She could do choreography, you know, like anybody could do choreography.
Right.
She can't really sing. Her songs are obnoxious. Like right now, she had a song or a video for Christmas where her face is filled with confetti. Like, it's so ridiculous, just ridiculous, that I'm sure that, like, you know, she took all this way to the bank. So,
listen, and she's depositing those bows left and right.
And good for her, because she's the American dream. She started from nothing, and she built an empire.
On bows.
But I'm sure that in the middle of the night when she's like sitting up in her bed, she's like, coño.
How long do I have to keep this
up? Like, why did I ever, like, you know, it's like a bad, you know, it's like there's a duality to it. Like, on the one hand, I became a millionaire, but on the other hand, this is the most obnoxious and terrible character ever.
And how sustainable is that persona, you know, when you're 35?
Right, and that persona can't evolve. Like,
right, that persona has to be perpetually.
So she's
11 years old, as it were.
She's stuck with it,
right?
And like, and now going to the whole coming out, but this would have been the same thing if she would have been straight. You know, like if you're somebody who wants to like is interested in her and date her, it's
she has a girlfriend,
right? But it's like, you know, you see the persona, like,
right?
Christmas trees, candy canes. Look at my balls. Oh my God, because my mom, oh, let me go down the stairs. Oh my God, you guys, like, you don't understand. It's like, oh my God, it's so annoying. It's visually,
I wish we were a visual podcast.
You know what? To quote Chandler Bing, a sight for the eyes and the ears. You know, it's like, my God, it's like assaulting to the senses. Like, oye, y los bows de ella son carísimos.
Yeah, they're not cheap.
They're like $15
for a bow.
Not
even like,
esa niña, how old is she? 17?
Because she's not.
She keeps that bow ponytail nonsense up. By the time she's 21, she's gonna be bald. Porque ya her forehead. Have you seen por donde esa niña tiene el forehead? Because like she doesn't even have like a soft ponytail.
No, it's a severe pony.
Yes, it's like we're going to like stretch this out the most we can.
Bueno, pero don't you? Speaking of ponytails, Ariana Grande has said it. She's like, because I wore the ponytails for so long, there was a time there where she had to keep doing the ponytail and start like softening it up because of that. Because it's like I can't just stop doing it because my head is like. Pulled back.
I could tell you, you know, from somebody who had long hair that I would put my hair in a bun. Like at the end of the day, like it's true your hair. So can you imagine Jojo that's been doing this for like years and years and years, like every day?
And she has to do it to sell merchandise.
Yes. Plus, and then it's like, I'm telling you, that girl, at the end of the day, she must be exhausted. She must be exhausted. And I love how she's like, my DREM tour. Coming to a city near you. It's awful. It's awful. You know what's funny? One time, I'm not exaggerating. I'm not lying. One time, I didn't know. I was at Michael's.
Okay.
And I was at Michael's because I wanted to buy Sharpies.
Oh, okay.
But like different color Sharpies,
yeah.
Not
like a pack,
right? But like of like different colors. Because I was doing something for Tristan, like fluorescent colors and whatever.
Right.
Not the typical ones that you could find anywhere else. So they have them at Michael's, and I'm like, I hear something like far away. I'm like, what is that disruptive noise? And I couldn't tell if it was like a voice or like a static or like music. It was just something very disrupting to the, you know.
It was just like a sound.
And then I keep walking in the store and I'm like, oh, they had a video of like where like the crafts are of like Jojo Siwa that like that weekend they were gonna have like a like a crafts thing.
Oh, like
where we're gonna make Jojo Siwa
make
crafts
bows or whatever. Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh my God, come to Michael's this weekend! We're gonna make bows!" And I'm like, "Oh my God!" Like I could hear this in the other side of the store. Like it's awful. And again, it's nothing against her personally. I'm sure she's a wonderful human being.
It's the persona.
And you know what? Good for her for coming out so young and like, because obviously she has to be, I'm sure that, her fan base are kids.
Right.
That
So
this was a very big step for her.
Yeah.
She had to weigh. So good for her. But just, again, the character, not the person. I'm sure she's a wonderful person. And I know, as I said, she's the American dream. Good for her.
Yeah.
Like,
listen, I can't make a living off
good
of bows.
for her.
I'm going
But
bald.
it's like that character. That's why, like, you gotta be careful, like, what you start off with, because you don't know how
long you gotta keep it
thankfully,
going.
Our personas on this show
It's us.
It's us. Because you don't know how that's gonna snowball out of control. And then, you know what?
Yeah.
Screech.
Screech.
That we were saying he was doing Saved by the Bell.
The new class or
Not
whatever.
the new class, the second, when they went back to Bayside High and it was like different students.
Yeah, the new class.
He was, I think, in his late 20s and was still doing the Screech voice. And he sounded terrible because he was like in his 20s.
Lo está forzando.
Yeah. Like, you don't know how that character is going to take off, and then that defines you.
And he's an actor playing a character.
Right.
In this case, it's a persona, but it's Jojo. Like, technically it's her.
Yes.
So nobody's going to come and give her another role.
Oh, she must be like, at the end of the day, she's like, I need a massage. Like, because it must be exhausting. I saw, like, there's a video of hers. Well, all her videos are exhausting. But there's a video of her in specific that's like 2 years old. And it's around Christmas because the house has Christmas trees. Okay. That she gives you a tour of the house that I get tired watching it. Like, it's funny because my anxiety totally goes through the roof. And I'm not even
an anxious person.
From anxiety.
Yeah, you're not an anxious person.
And I'm like, oh my God, this is like so awful to watch. But why am I watching this? Why can't I turn it off? Okay, enough about Jojo Siwa. So, ¿cómo está todo el mundo?
That was wonderful.
Are we having croquetas this weekend?
Well, we're gonna have chicken wings this weekend.
Yes, we'll talk about that in.
Yes, that's next week's. That's a preview for next week's.
That's another thing. I've been.
I want nachos.
I've been craving croquetas big time.
So croquetas and sandwich.
Yes, but like I want like an Isla Canaria croqueta.
I bet they're so far apart from each other.
Yeah, because you know what, like
I
love Do Croqueta. Do Croqueta is our friend.
Yeah.
Like,
those
are
our
people. We love the Do Croqueta, but Isla Canaria croquetas, it's like you get like a specific craving.
Well, that's the thing. Sometimes you get a craving for that. Sometimes I get a craving for the Do Croquetas.
I have to tell you but I have to tell you something about Do Croqueta. Do Croqueta actually was able to accomplish a really big feat, and our shout out to Do Croqueta. We love Do Croqueta. We had. Wow, last year we had a live show at Do Croqueta.
I know.
That seems
that was
like
just last year.
Forever ago. That was right before the pandemic. I absolutely hate buffalo sauce. I think buffalo sauce is gross. And I love their buffalo croqueta.
With the chicken.
With the blue cheese sauce.
The chicken crack buffalo thing.
Yes. Because their buffalo croqueta, I don't know, it has enough of the buffalo flavor that I can handle it.
It's not overpowering.
But it's not overpowering, because that's what I don't like about buffalo sauce. It's like buffalo sauce.
There's no debating it.
But it's like a really nice balance between that and then, of course, the blue cheese dressing that you dip it in. It's like really, really good.
Brings it down.
Yeah, really, really good. So shout out to the croqueta.
Yes.
And Isla Canaria.
And yes, of course. Well, that's a lot of food that you're craving. So is it soda time?
It's soda time, which was not going to have any sponsor in the Super Bowl.
That's true. Well, I mean, Pepsi is going to be the halftime show, so that's technically sponsored. You want to go first?
No, you go first.
All right. So I am going to get... Actually, I'm kind of looking forward to how I'm setting this up. I am going to give mine to a woman by the name of Maria Garcia.
Okay, you have to be specific. Maria Garcia was my math teacher in 9th grade.
Oh, yeah, Miss Garcia. That's right. So it's not her. It's not Miss Garcia, math teacher from Southwest. Maria Garcia is a journalist and a podcaster. And I've just started listening to her podcast. It's only on episode 5. It's called Anything for Selena. and it's all about
Quintanilla.
It's all about Selena Quintanilla. But what she's doing, which I love, number one, she does every episode in English, and the same episode she'll do again in Spanish. So she's, she does literally the same episode in two languages, which I think is awesome as hell. But she's not just necessarily telling the story of Selena and, this is her rise and this is blah, blah, blah. She's telling the story of Selena within the context of the impact that she made to the Latino community, to her, to Maria, as, a Mexican girl growing up in Texas, that she made, how it affected like Latino exposure upon her death, like when Howard Stern made fun of the music and, played her music with like shotguns in the background, and the effects on Tejano music, she's just being able to weave so much in and out of it. She did an entire episode, and the title alone of this episode is enough to make me want to actually name it for my memoirs. The name of the episode is Big Butt Politics.
Oh.
Where she talks about the casting of Jennifer Lopez, and how she was cast because she had, she has a big butt, like Selena had a big butt, but what does that really mean, and how was that embraced in culture, and how all of a sudden, shapely women are a thing, but that's Latina women, but it's actually not Latina women, that comes from Black women, and it's just there's so much that she's unpacking through the lens of Selena.
In other words, it comes from anybody but white women.
Pretty much. But she's unpacking so much through the lens of Selena's, short life. She was, 23 when she was killed. And I look forward every week to the new episode, and it's very, very well done. She even got to interview Abraham Quintanilla, the father.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
that's another example of
if you're listening to this somehow, we'd love to have you on the show to talk about the
that's another example of the legacy of Selena. We had a whole topic about this, I think, last year.
Yeah.
But who knows, because it's all mushy.
Actually, I think we talked about it at our Dos Croquetas episode.
We did, actually. No, I remember we did. How here it is, it's going to be 26 years in March 30th, I believe, or 31st.
See now.
And she's still relevant.
Yeah, more. I would almost. This is gonna sound horrible, but I would almost say more now as a icon.
Yes, and it's interesting because like I think that a lot of times when people pass away like that, you could make the argument about like JFK and other. He's the first one that passed away and young and at like
Kurt
the
Cobain.
brink of. Well, he was a president, but at the brink of like something greater,
That next step.
it's kind of like their legend kind of takes a life of its own, because Selena kind of now is seen as like this.
She's mythical almost.
Yeah, she's seen as this total Latin like symbol of I'm Latin and I'm here,
of Latinidad.
Right? And it's so funny because during her lifetime, that's not really. It's not that she wasn't about that, but it wasn't really about her breaking down stereotypes and stuff like that. Maybe she would have with the crossover album,
right.
But it's like lived on it, lived a life of its own, for better, I think.
Absolutely.
But and if you come to think about it, and she had a long career and a short career because she had been singing since she was a little girl, but commercially, mainstream, it wasn't that many years. So interesting. Yeah.
You need to listen to this. You would love this.
I have to say that I can't say that prior to her dying, I was a huge fan of Selena. I did have Amor Prohibido, the album.
Oh, it's a great album.
I can't say that I was like a super Selena fan.
Right.
But I did have the album, and you knew there was something special about her. Mm-hmm. Like you knew, like there was something about her that I didn't grow up listening to Tejano music or to that type of genre, but nonetheless I had her CD, and then I bought subsequent ones after she died. But I had Amor Prohibido, and I actually bought it for funny story.
Columbia House.
No. I bought it at the Specs Music in International Mall.
Oh, okay.
Well, next to what was at that time Lord and Taylor. But I bought it not for Beady Beady Bom Bom. I bought it for a Si Una Vez.
That song is so good.
Because that song, I think, is so good. Yeah, it's so good. And you know where's the first time I heard Si Una Vez?
Siempre Domingo?
MTV Internacional with
Daisy Fuentes?
Yep. That's why I'm telling you, MTV Internacional and The Box used to like expose you to all this music that maybe you won't listen to the radio. That's why, whatever, this is an argument for another day, a discussion for another day, but we talked about it here on the show. That's why I don't think that streaming is the same, because streaming, it's a proactive experience.
And even when they give you suggestions, it's based on what you've already listened to.
Right. It's a proactive experience. You have to go and do a playlist.
Yeah, you initiate.
You have to initiate it. Whereas, TV and on your music, whether it was MTV, The Box, whatever, it was there. You were fed that.
Right.
So you either liked it or you didn't, but whatever. So anyway, I'm my last soda has to do with politics.
Okay.
I swore I was going to talk less about politics.
Yes. We made a very concerted effort this episode not to do politics.
But last week, kind of in jest, we said like pero política.
Yes.
And we got a lot of messages from people.
Yeah, we did.
Saying like we should totally do a spin-off called Pero Política. So my problem with doing Pero Política is, and I actually was speaking to Stephanie from Mamas and Merlot about this the other day, because Stephanie's like, oh my God, I would love to do it with you, which I would. I would totally love for her to be like a host or whatever, a co-host. But the problem is that we need a dissenting voice.
That is, you need somebody who's at least a little more impartial, shall we say.
Right.
Yeah.
Because, her and I kind of are in the same political spectrum. Yeah. I'm sure there's certain things that maybe we see differently, but her and I are kind of in the same political spectrum. So I'm like, okay, it's not going to be really productive to have two people on the same political spectrum talk about things,
like, Yes, we agree. Thank you.
Like I would love to have like a real Republican, a real conservative, not a Trumper, but like a real Republican, like a Meghan McCain.
Right.
Like somebody that would be like, yeah, let's totally do it. And we'll have Pero Política. I even thought about like what the
logo already or everything?
Yeah, I did. It was our same font with the American flag in the background. So my last Coke goes to Liz Cheney.
Okay.
For having the balls to very boldly say that she was for impeaching Trump. She is not a Trump supporter. And despite that, they were going to remove her from head of her party. And she was like, I'm not backing down. And today, ultimately, they voted and they kept her.
Really?
They did. And you know why they did?
Optics?
No, it was a secret vote. The Republicans voted to keep her, and it was like 166 versus like 60 something. So the overwhelming majority of Republicans voted to keep her.
So in other words, there are probably more people privately that agree with her stance that are willing to come out.
But that's the
problem. Right. That are willing to come out in the light because they don't want the retribution, shall we say.
That is the problem. They're afraid to, because people now, politics now, on both sides, not just Republicans, on both sides, it's about winning an election. It's not about principles anymore. It's about winning the election. So all these like Trump Republicans want the Trump base.
Well, they're not even Trump Republicans. All these Republicans don't want to alienate the Trump base.
Right. A lot of them don't want to alienate, the Trump base. So they're going to pander to it. They're not going to appear hostile to it, Right? Which is, in this case, it's awful because
it's just self-preservation.
All the reasons
it's self-preservation
that we don't need to go into now. But I give her credit for having the cojones to stick to her guns. I never thought I would give a last Coke to a last soda to a Cheney.
Well, there you go.
But here we go.
There's a first time for everything.
There is a first time for everything.
There's a first time for everything.
Liz Cheney, this soda is for you.
Well, there you go.
Now I really want like a nice fizzy drink.
Like just very cold.
Let's go get one.
Okay.
Oh my God, we want croqueta, sandwich, and a fizzy drink.
Well, but before we go get one, let's wrap up the episode.
Okay, so that was episode 142, people. This was a lot about nothing.
But they love when we do nothing. Our listeners love the nothing. Because it's not like the nothing in the never-ending story.
No, that nothing didn't end very well.
No, ours does. Ours is entertaining.
So, you know what's funny? I think that if the never-ending story was
God.
remade. You know what song would have to be in the soundtrack?
Say my name, say my name.
Oh my God, you totally knew it. When she's like, say my name, Bastian, say my name. I'm like, say my name, say my Okay, never mind. On that note, everybody, we hope you listened, laughed, and learned. Although in this one, I hope it was more listening and laughing. There wasn't a lot of learning. Remember to grab your pastelito, your croqueta, and your cafecito. And thank you for joining us so much. Happy Friday, happy Pero Friday, happy Super Bowl. Enjoy the Super Bowl. Enjoy it all. Eat a lot.
Yes.
Have fun.
La dieta al lunes.
La dieta al lunes after Super Bowl. Thank you so much, everybody.
All right, cuídense.
Bye.
Pero Let Me Tell You is co-hosted by Darian Borges and Ismaeliano, produced by Ismaeliano, and our theme, Pero Let Me Tell You Freestyle, is composed by Michael Angelo Lamleplex, the official gay guy. And don't forget to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes.